a lot of people want to say free him. No, that will not be coming from me.
It was dark clouds on us, but that was perfect for us. We know you always crash and burn, but it was working for us. Double check the details. Gotta cross my T's and dot my I's or I can't.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl B Octavia, and welcome to Real Talk Tuesday. If you by chance don't know what Real Talk Tuesday is, Real Talk Tuesday is a segment on my channel where I talk about what society's issues are and what people were pretty detrimental to our history. On that note, I'm going to get into it. I'm going to make a couple disclaimers because I have gotten a couple of comments from specific videos that I have done. But today's video is on Wayne Perry. If you don't know who Wayne Perry is and why I'm talking about Wayne Perry was the hitman in DC, like the number one hitman in DC. He was the first person in DC to be sentenced to death, but it cost the state too much, so he is serving life. In the 80s to early 90s, Wayne Perry got his name and popularity from extorting and robbing drug dealers around the area, plus having a short fuse made him the option for a lot of people to call if they had problems, with certain things in their area. Something that I noticed personally from studying Wayne Perry, because I will say this is one of the disclaimers, that I wasn't alive when he was in his prime of what he was doing. I was not alive. I was born in 1996, but I've always heard stories and little things that people would say and put Wayne Perry's name in it. He's a OG. He's, he did this, he did that. He's so, making it seem like he's so great. And then once I got older and really understood what he was doing, with his life and, how he taught other people to be like him, I don't see him as a gangster. I don't see him as somebody who is inspirational or can be inspirational even if they locked up. Listen to me when I say this. A lot of people want to say, oh, if you wasn't alive, you really wouldn't feel it. No. If you really don't care about the people that came before you, if you really don't care about the history that went into why things are the way they are now, then maybe you really wouldn't care. But I'm not like that. So I've studied. Having a short fuse in certain situations, and most situations, won't turn out the way that you want it to. And like I said, okay, having a short fuse and you being known for that, you can't really teach the youth anything. You can't teach anybody anything because you have to get that under control. During that time when he was in his prime of being respected by many and feared by most, I can't speak for the people who, was alive during that time, but what I can say is from what I heard and my impression of the way people would use his name in context, it made it seem like he was really out here doing some good. So I'm like, oh, maybe this is a good dude. No, it's all in the way that you take it. If you take him killing people based off of very small things that can be talked out and can be worked out as him being a gangster, then that doesn't really go hand in hand. And it depends on what you think a gangster is, what you think an OG is. In my opinion, an OG is somebody who, yes, has done bad, but you have to be reformed, and jail doesn't really reform you. It just confines you into a space where you don't have those same type of connections, and you can't touch people in the streets. That's what jail is. Jail doesn't mean that you're reformed, and it doesn't mean that you can, once you locked up for a while, you can now be the voice of reason. That doesn't really make sense to me. I've heard jail interviews that he did with a couple different people, and I always listen to what older people are saying, and I take what they're saying. And because you've lived longer than me, I respect you that much. You've been through a lot. But the simple fact about it for him is like you've caused so much pain, and you've literally taught generations and generations after you of what not to do. And there's really no way that you can undo that, because it's already implemented into the streets, like the grimy mindset. You wasn't sitting up telling people that they gotta do right when you was out. This is my thing. I see an OG as something different. A lot of people think just because you old, oh, he an OG. No, you can't really call a lot of people that. The way that I studied him was, it's like an FBI audio tape here on YouTube that is talking about Wayne Perry the long way. You know what I'm talking about? And they covered a lot. And I want to talk about that too. But that really opened my eyes only because I just had no idea how many, like, souls were taken at the hands of him. You gotta understand something. DC is so broken, and DC is full of pain, and it's stemming from people who were under him. That's what I feel like. People who he taught to do bad. They had kids, they taught to do bad. They had kids, they taught to do bad. Like, it's a never-ending circle. And a lot of people want to say free him, and, you know, no, that will not be coming from me. You see what I'm saying? Because I see the bigger picture to why they shouldn't free him. Because it's literally too much influence to the point where he might not even understand how much, like, how grimy it is. Because people look up to you, not now, people look up to who you were before you got captured. People look up to that. So instead of trying to be inspirational now, I mean, I just feel like it's really nothing you can do. I remember seeing the YouTube channel Popala, I think that's what his name is, and he was covering Shorty Pop. And y'all gotta go see that. I will put the link below. Basically, he was like a 14, 15-year-old assassin from Berry Farms. That is ironically where I'm from as well. So as soon as I heard that, I'm just like, whoa, like, this is from the past. You know, he from the same parts that I'm from. So let me really study who he was and why they're covering him, you know. Listening to that, Wayne Perry's name came up. They say that allegedly Shorty Pop was an assassin, a very young assassin, and allegedly was taught by Wayne Perry himself. You know, he was one of his little men. So, only leads me to believe that you can't be inspirational and you can't be a motivator for these young niggas. Because I just feel like if you was teaching them at a very young age to be very heartless, you got to understand how many generations have passed, how many decades have passed, where Lord knows how many people, how many young niggas, how many young black men, young black women even, you know what I'm saying, that you've taught to do the wrong things, and how many of them have had kids. Now, rest in peace to Shorty Pop. You know, you never want nobody to die. Y'all gotta go see the video on that to, you know, fully get briefed if you want to know. But these DC streets is mean, man. And you can go out and you can do these bad things, but don't ever think that you're invincible. Like I told y'all, and a lot of people, you know, who don't know, my brother was 15 years old and he got killed by gun violence. So when it comes to that pain, I understand that. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to that grimy shit, it's unfathomable that that people, these young kids, these young men, whoever is out here doing this, you can hear sirens right now. It's always sirens going off. And this is why I say he not no OG to me. You know, we can talk about this in the comments. He's not no OG to me. I'll have another video on his demise. You know what I'm saying? So stay tuned for that. You want to try to make your image better and make people believe that you really won't go back to that. Stuck in people's ways. You know, people from the 70s, the late 70s, no, the early 60s. 61, 62, all the way to the 80s. You know how stubborn they are, bruh. And you know that they really won't never change. Honestly, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I'm speaking for what I've experienced. I'm speaking for my life and, you know, people who are my family and, you know, character traits and all of that shit. So that's why I say he not no OG. He can never be inspirational to me. And young niggas, if you looking at this, don't go out and do the shit that he did, because you will get caught just like he did. Straight up. So that's Real Talk Tuesday, and I will see y'all in my next video.